Thomas! It's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it! Well,
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Henry.
champions.
Good evening, everybody. Very warm welcome to the Arsenal Lounge on our usual Monday night podcast. It's going to be the last one before, obviously, the World Cup. So we'll try to make it as fun. And, you know, thanks to Arsenal, it's going to be a fun and relaxing show anyway. But, yeah, Lev, what's happening? How are you?
Just loving the energy coming from you. Just energy. Yeah, I'm great, bro. I'm great. I'm hyped. Another show, another win, another 3 points, another prediction.
Yeah.
I just can't get any better for me right now.
It's good, man. It's good. A friend of mine helped you and you went to the game as well, didn't you?
It did help me, yeah. Well done, Shaheen. Your friend didn't help you, he helped me. But
Yeah, he's all right. My friend is all right.
Munchkin for the tickets. That was amazing. It was good to meet you at the
Did you turn up to the pub thing, by the way?
Yeah, that's where I got the tickets from.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you know, my friend is all right guy, but, you know, he has his moments, but he's all right. Yeah.
She's all right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mo, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah, absolutely buzzing. Arsenal, I cannot believe it. 5 points clear. You know, obviously the season, it ticks over slowly. So you get used to where you are in the league. But when you look at the league table, if someone had shown me that league table and said, this is the league table before the World Cup, like the last fixture before the World Cup starts, I'd be like, yeah, okay, but you've got Liverpool and Arsenal in the wrong place, mate. That's what I would have been saying to them. I cannot believe how incredibly well it's going. Just looking forward to getting stuck into it.
brilliant.
Okay, very good. Mo, how good are the executive boxes at Molineux?
They're good. They're nice. I had a nice.
How
plate
good?
of-
Is it better than the Emirates?
No chance.
Really?
Yeah, had a nice meal. Yes,
Did
I
they
was
give you
there
food as well?
in one of the exec boxes. A nice seated lamb dish that I enjoyed before the game.
Did you
Look
bump
over
into
to my
anyone
left.
that you know?
Who do I see? Lead judges in a box, two away. So
Oh, my God.
That's so
no, it's a funny story actually. I was in the box, and then I look across, and it's Lee Judges. So the people in the box between us, because he was 2 boxes away, you can't hear each other from these boxes. But I'm through the glass. I'm saying to one of the guys in the other box, "Can you knock on that box like that?" And he's like, "No." He thinks I'm joking. I'm like, "Come on, do it. Knock on that box." So eventually, he like sheepishly knocks on that box and says to Lee, like, "Look there." And then Lee sees me and we're like, "Hey, hello," from 2 boxes away, and these guys are just in the middle of our silent
Can you not
conversation.
speak? Can you not, like, because I know at Arsenal, when you come out of the box, there's like a hallway and you can
Yeah,
mingle.
we
with
did that afterwards.
Oh,
After we
okay,
got through the initial excitement, yeah.
Right,
And
fair
the funny thing is, it wasn't just him in the box; it was other AFTV people. But you know, me and Lee came out and had a nice hug and a chat. Robbie didn't decide to join, and yeah, I think I probably would have headed back into mine. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Awkward.
Tom, how are you?
very good.
Where did you
very
watch
good
the game,
indeed.
Tom?
I was a rare time for an away game, but I was at home for this one, which again meant that I could celebrate the goals. Just like, you know, because I don't know if I mentioned on the last show that I really hate Chelsea. So, you know, I managed to celebrate those goals, and I managed to celebrate these ones as well, especially with and I see Gunnar Gregg's comment in the chat box saying I've got my Bernardegard grin on today, which is very true.
Why weren't you at the game, Tom?
Just travel reasons, couldn't go. Kaya went, but I didn't go.
Do you know what? I've never been to an away game, right? But I was checking with Lev, and we would check because I was going to go with Lev and I couldn't. The trains coming back was just ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
Like, there is no train. Surely you would think that people would look into this because, if I'm not mistaken, correct me, Lev, if I'm wrong. The last train was leaving at 9:40, and the game was still going on.
Yeah.
If you were going to catch the next train, that would have been around 10:45, but you would have got into London like 8 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, it took us it was weird because it took us 3.5 hours to get there, but just over 2 hours to get back. We breezed it back. But it was my first proper away game as well. And it makes you appreciate the Emirates more as a stadium. The facilities were a little bit spoiled. Obviously, you know, other stadiums have been built since that are a little bit more modern. but it does make you appreciate it. But then again, you've got that real sort of old school vibe of the Molineux Stadium, which was nice. It was, the seats were brilliant. We were right in the front. The atmosphere was great. You know, you saw like kids with their grandparents, and it was weird because I heard someone go, "Look, lads, that's them. They're top table," and I'm like, "Wow!" You know, it was. But it was so good to see. It was really and the Wolves fans, by the way, really well behaved, really welcoming.
Shaheen, quick question for you. Lev's Wolverhampton accent out of 10, what would you give it?
To be honest with you, I don't really know what a Wolverhampton accent is. But
I'll tell you, it was pretty good.
I think it was pretty good. I think
it was pretty good as well.
Thanks,
yeah.
lad.
Good.
Off the cuff.
What would you give it?
Impressive, yeah.
Impressive. Well
Thank
done,
you, guys.
guys.
I thought you were going to mock me for that. Thanks.
Finally found something you're good at. Well done.
Oh, don't push it.
Finally, I'll be on Britain's Got Talent doing Wolverhampton accents. Yeah, great.
What number would you give him, Mo?
I'll give that a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
thank
solid.
you.
It was good.
Can I hear a Wolverhampton accent from you, Shaheen?
No, it's not going to come out of me, mate. So, I don't know what a Wolverhampton accent is, to be honest with you.
Pretty much.
Should we start with a game? Since, thanks to my friend, you were there, Lev. Why don't we start with you? What was your thoughts on the game?
Right. Well, look, this was what my day consisted of. In the car, on the way, sat down. I realised I got Sky Go on my phone. Realised the City game was on. There was about 10 minutes to go. Stuck it on while we were on the motorway, shooting down. There's Man City really pressing hard, looking for that winner. I'm like, oh my God, they're going to score any minute now. Then they had some ridiculous, what was it, 10 minutes added time or something, weren't it? I remember texting Mo saying, 10 minutes added time, what's going on there? Anyway, to see Tony on a breakaway and just, so I just didn't know what was going on. So we gone up to Molineux, unbelievably celebrating that Brentford had won. Then Spurs were losing as well. Unfortunately, that changed. But the whole thing was, I'll tell you what, the first half I was really, really worried. And the turnout as well. We had like one half of the stadium almost of away fans. And the atmosphere was brilliant. Everyone was really like buzzing for the game. And the first half was one of those. They were sitting back and they were looking to counter. And you was worrying that you could get sucker punched because we weren't really breaking the lines as much. Xhaka went off early. Apparently, he'd eaten something pre-match food. The pre-match meal had made 3 or 4 players ill. They all had the same symptoms.
It's not been
Where is
confirmed,
this?
but that's what they think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is this? Sorry, what is this?
The pre-match meal
What game?
for the Wolves game. The pre-match meal. Apparently, 4 or 5 players had got sort of weird symptoms of illness, and Xhaka was struggling 5-10 minutes into the game. He looked pale. He looked weak. He came off. That really affected us. Sort of with the late runs from midfield. We didn't really have anyone breaking the lines, and we were struggling. They were sitting back, and once or twice we had some hairy moments. But second half, we come out a different team, really pegged them back, and we're doing what we have to do. We weren't playing our best, but we're still getting the results. We still got those moments of quality. And you know what? I did feel all game that we were going to win the game. I was confident. That's the thing. So it was great. It was great that, look, it was really important we got 3 points. Man City slipped up, and we needed to send a message that if you slip up, you will get punished. And we did that. And I'm happy about that. We came back with 3 points. And, the rest is history. All the fans. And I'll tell you what is really funny right now. Looking at Twitter, all these fans are suddenly, it's we need to stop Arsenal and we're teaming up and we need to do this. And everyone's scared. And it's mad to see that for once because
It's nice to see, though.
Last few years, we've been on the back end of all the banter. All of a sudden, there's some emergency going on with these fans. So I'm loving it.
Very good. Tom, what about you?
Yeah, I was, very happy, I think, overall, considering what, Lev pointed out. It was, I think that Xhaka incident in particular, we've started games really quickly recently and we've got early goals. And when Xhaka went down after a minute, that incident in itself, he didn't come off at that point. Obviously, going down in that moment, I think really stunted our attack in the first few moments of the game. There was some, openings for Wolves throughout on the counter. There was a couple of incidents. The Saliba on Gonzalo Guedes, I think it was up top. With the potential penalty. I was watching Sky Sports today where Dermot Gallagher explained why it wasn't a penalty, and basically it boils down to an incorrect offside flag going up when the flag shouldn't have gone up, and the referee blew for it. And had the linesman played on and then a penalty being given, potentially we could have been looking at conceding one. Now, a lot of people quickly, whenever I pointed that out on my morning show, was like, it was offside, like it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But I think it's closer than what people thought. And I would have appreciated seeing how close it was with the benefit of the lines. We won't ever know how close it was exactly because we don't have the benefit of the lines because it wasn't ever checked. But that was a bit of a wake-up call. And at half-time, I was a bit like, it's one of those games where you're sitting there thinking, if we take a draw here, you can go 3 points clear of City, and it's not a bad thing considering. But second half, we really turned the screw and created plenty more opportunities. Yes, we were still vulnerable on the counter because we were pushing for that goal. You're never going to completely dominate a game, but really happy with the way in which we ended the game, and particularly happy for a special someone to get both goals as well. Top scorer, by the way. I don't know if you knew that in the squad now.
Top scorer where? In the club?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 6 goals, mate.
You're breaking his heart, Tom. I'll tell you what else was really evident there as well when you're there up close. Traore. How strong he is.
How slippery as well. You can see his oiled up arms.
Yeah. People were bouncing off his thighs. That's literally bouncing off his thighs.
Yeah, but he doesn't have any end product left.
No, he doesn't.
No, I'm just saying
he could genuinely be one of the best players, I think, in the world if he just had any technical ability at all. And he doesn't. Yeah.
Well, what I would say, firstly, obviously, brilliant game. We started off okay. I thought I was happy with the start, and then Wolves really came into it. They did quite well in the first half, actually. But one thing I've pointed out on my 5 at 5 in the past, and also in my one that I did today, was that when you look at the 15-minute segments of games, Arsenal start halves brilliantly. In the first 15 minutes, so in the first half, we're 5-0 up. That's our cumulative score. In the second half, the first 15 minutes, we're 9-3. Both of those are the best in the league. So in that, those 15-minute segments, there's no team that outperforms us in the league. So at halftime, I was actually quite calm. I would have only got worried after that because it seems a clear tactic to me that Mikel Arteta gets his team to go out there and try and catch other teams cold. And I think we've done that very effectively this season, and the stats back it up. So I was actually sat there with the people I was watching the game with, and they were saying, looking a bit dodgy. What do you think? And I was like, not worried at all. Watching the first 15 minutes, that's when we'll, either start dominating the game and likely take a chance, or you'll see that actually, we're going to come out a different team. And we did. Scored that first goal, the opening goal, in the first 15 minutes. And that's just been a hallmark of Arsenal's season. So I was very happy with that. The funny thing is with the Saliba incident that you mentioned, Tom, earlier, I actually didn't think it was a penalty when I was watching it live. And I was saying that when you think about where the ball's coming from and the fact that Saliba was in between the player and the ball, Saliba's just got to that ball first. I didn't think it was a penalty. But when I saw the replay, actually, the attacker has done very, very well to get his leg past Saliba. And actually, I think it could have been a very difficult decision had that not been pulled back for offside. But Arsenal did what Arsenal do this season. And even though Wolves were performing fairly well and they had that sort of new manager feel for the game, walking around, I think Arsenal just did what good teams do. We responded from a defeat midweek. We won the game away from home with added pressure of Man City dropping points. And the players would have known. The media, every single rival fan would have that narrative drafted about Arsenal not being able to handle the pressure. They had to respond today from a defeat and the added pressure. And they did that really well in the Wolves game. So yet another kind of opportunity for them to start saying to people, are we contenders yet? For you, are we contenders yet? And I answered that question in my match reaction. And I'm sure we'll talk about that amongst ourselves now.
Yeah, we will. I also thought that.
Can I just ask, what is that? What is even that super chat about?
Yeah, let's put it up.
Do you want to address it, Mo? I don't know what it's about, but obviously someone's coming here looking
I don't know
trouble.
what it's about either. But Dave Jordan, thank you.
I know Dave. I mean, he's generally a nice guy. I don't know what it's all about.
Listen,
He
firstly, Dave hasn't been rude. He hasn't been abusive or anything like that. He's asked a valid question. I don't mind it at all. Like, I put myself out there on Twitter and Insta and podcast and talk about things. So I absolutely welcome a bit of challenge. Who wants to live in an echo chamber? It's pointless. So would like to congratulate Mo on joining in the pylon of Beth Mead whilst her mother is terminally ill, all over some out of context quotes. Proud. Firstly, actually, I'd say thanks to Dave, because I had no idea that her mother was terminally ill. And, with that, you could take the view that actually it's irrelevant. It's not relevant to what she's done. I don't think she would have done something differently if her mother wasn't ill. So there's no relevance there. But of course, there's relevance in the kindness you can show to someone when you know that they're going through something really, really tough. But, given that question was, how do I feel about joining in on the pylon? If I were to ask you guys, what do you think I have tweeted or said to her to suggest that I've joined in on a pylon, I think it'd be your assumption would be very different to what I've said. I've tweeted her on 2 occasions and said, come on, Beth, break the silence. That's what I've said to her. That's it. That's the full extent of what I've said to her.
Break the silence on what?
Yeah, so we'll go into that. But I don't think, Dave, it's fair to suggest that I've been part of a pile on. I've said to her, break the silence. So I think that's pretty mild and fair. And what's happened was she was asked a question in an interview about the lack of diversity in the women's game. So when you look at, I can't remember if it was about Arsenal or England, but the lack of black faces, basically, of female footballers in that team. I think it was England, actually. And her response was disappointing. It was sort of like shaking her head and saying, no, it's not that. We just pick people on merit. And well, actually, the fact is, there is more to it than that. And to kind of just, let's say, not even entertain the conversation, not even acknowledge the fact that there could be an issue. Not that you have to agree with it, but to just dismiss it out of hand was disappointing, and it has received some criticism. I personally think, rightly so, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not the worst crime in the world. But since then, it's been radio silence. I personally haven't seen Beth Mead come out and say anything about it. And I think it'd be better if she just turned around and said, yeah, look, sorry, perhaps I could have dealt with it better. That's it. So that's what I say when I break the silence. But I don't think she deserves a pylon, and I don't think that the way that question was phrased from Dave also is fair either.
Thanks for clearing that up, Mo. I wasn't aware of any of that. So
right, I wanted to do something with you guys because obviously we're going to talk about World Cup, January transfer window, etc. Before I move on, do you guys want to have any stand-up points that you want to talk about with regards to Wolves game?
Stand-up points.
Anything in particular? You don't need to have anything. You can just say no.
No, I mean,
are we ending the Wolves chat there? Are we drawing a line under it?
Oh no, you don't have to. Don't have to, Tom. If there's something, if you want to go into it,
if you want to say something,
feel free, mate.
Oh no, it's fine. I just it just feels a whole game.
It just got inadvertently sidetracked for a minute. That's what it was. That's
yeah. Go for it.
No, look with regards to the Wolves game. Can I just say, I think the Wolves game is a game that normally the Gunners of old would have lost, right? I think we defended really, really well. I'm in Mo's camp in the sense of when I saw it up close, I didn't even think that Saliba thing was an issue. I thought he'd got there first. I tell you what, Vieira struggled when he came on initially. He really did, and people were looking at that. But I think what happened with him getting involved with that assist seemed to give him a lot of confidence. And I think people need to really give someone like Vieira a bit of time. Stop judging him so quickly. He's a young lad. He's come in the Premier League. It's a very difficult league, and we should be getting behind him. And there's already some people going, oh, no, he's not good enough, and this, that, and the other. But you know what? He started looking good. I still feel like Jesus is lacking confidence. He missed a chance I feel he should have buried. But all in all, good performance. There you go.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to stop talking about Wolves yet, so I'm glad you did say that.
Carry on, man. If you got anything that in particular you want to talk about,
I thought I'll bring it back on track.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing we have to speak about is Gabriel Jesus, because yet again, another game where He's had chances. He's failed to score. On some occasions, not even hit the target. But also absolutely instrumental in our win and has done
weird.
brilliantly and has worked so hard.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, like, I've been talking about how he does need to score more goals. He does need to be more clinical. He does need more positional discipline. His role in the team needs refining. But then, like, on the other hand, he's brilliant and he's still one of the first names on the team sheet for me.
Yeah. I think more as long as people are scoring goals, that's all right. It's good. And we all say, you know what, if people stop scoring goals, because I've said this a few times, I don't know if you guys have paid attention to it a little bit more. I see him a lot of times behind the play. Like there was a time that I think he won the ball halfway line or something.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And then he turned around and he started the attack, but there was at least like 4 or 5 players in front of him where he should have been right up there, the first one on top. And I hope that he can improve on this and play further up the field. But the work that he puts in, as you said, is phenomenal.
Never has there been a striker that doesn't score, but yet you can't fault him other than that he didn't score every game almost, right, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I don't think any Arsenal fan would say, I want him out the team.
No.
And that's not based on who would replace him. That's just based on him as an absolute rather than a relative to someone else. And you're right, Lev. It's amazing because he's not scoring enough goals, or I'm sure he'd be disappointed in his goal tally, yet none of us would take him out of the team. So it just speaks volumes about just how well he's doing everything else. It's just frustrating to see, like, the chances that he does get. God, I'm desperate, absolutely desperate for one of them to go in. And unfortunately, it's just
he did score, but it was offside, didn't it?
Yeah, he took that well, by the way.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he hit the bar as well.
He should have scored that one.
Yeah, the thing with Jesus, I was, one of the jobs I had to do today was do a player rating for every single one of Arsenal's squad this season. And Jesus was the hardest one to give a rating for. And, I ended up giving him a 7. And I felt in myself that was still harsh, It was kind of based on, I gave a lot of players 8s and I felt they'd still contributed more than potentially Jesus. Because the thing with Jesus for me is that at the end of the day, he's still a striker. And so I think he should score goals. And I think that had he, we could have 2 more points if he was more clinical against Southampton. It's those moments, I think, which made me put him to the 7 instead of the 8. And I only did whole numbers. Otherwise I would have gone, 7.5 potentially. But it was a real tough one to rate Jesus across this season because if you take across, the first games up until, say, the North London Derby, which I think is his last goal, or Liverpool, sorry, is his last goal.
It's North London Derby.
Was it? Who scored? No, Saka scored 2 and Martinelli got 1, wasn't it, against Liverpool?
Yeah,
so it was the North London Derby. Yeah. So if you go up to the North London Derby, I'd probably be looking at 8 to 9 for Jesus. But beyond that point, I think the lack of goals drops me down a bit, and I think that for me is it's probably a fair representation because I've given other players an 8 that I think were, have performed well. I think I gave Saka and Martinelli an 8, and I think I gave Jesus the one below those 2, just because I think as his number 9 role, I want to see more goals. Ødegaard has 2 assists this season, and I think that he would have at least 5 or 6 if Jesus was more clinical, this year as well. So I want to see more. I think the World Cup break would be good because I don't think he's going to play that much. So he's going to get a bit of a rest as well. Come back after the World Cup break, renewed, revitalized. Maybe if Brazil go on to win it, that's another big push for him as well. So I went for a 7 with Jesus, and I think that's fair. But I want to see more. I actually want to ask Shaheen though, because we're now at this point with the World Cup. It's a good place to stop. Martin Ødegaard, mate. Is there anything you want to say on Martin Ødegaard? I just want to get your thoughts on our top scorer.
Shaheen, whilst you're doing that, can everyone in the chat let us know what you would give Gabriel Jesus so far this season out of 10? I'm curious.
It's a really interesting one.
Anyway,
you know what, Shaheen? Listen, I want to see. I don't know how you would react to this, right? But what I want to see from Ødegaard is what Jesus is doing.
Not scoring.
No, in terms of he's coming back and he's getting involved in a play, quite a lot, dropping back, winning the ball, playing the ball further up. And I'd like to see more of that from Ødegaard, where in terms of more physicality, more trickery on the ball, getting involved in a play more. I think he's had, how many assists is that this season so far? 2. and he scored 6 goals. So he's improved on his goals, but he's got less assists than last season.
But you should have more, like if
Jesus
Jesus finished
some of those away,
that he creates,
yeah.
he should have had 2 assists against Southampton, easily. Should have had 2 more assists. I reckon there's at least.
Are you putting that down to Jesus not scoring?
The reason why that Ødegaard's only got 2 assists, I think that's more down to other players.
No, that's a fair assessment, Tom.
Yeah. And I think that the thing that we said last season, I think the big criticism, the debates that we had, is that you said you wanted to see him score more goals. And I think he's doing that. I think that the big criticism of him was that he wasn't decisive enough in the moments where he could shoot. And this season, there's still been times where I've wanted him to be a little bit more ruthless and take a shot. But I think he certainly is doing that a lot more than he was. And the goals he's scoring, like the one against Forest, was a great technique. The goal he scored, the second goal he scored yesterday, another example of taking that moment. Didn't take a touch, just struck it as soon as the ball came to him.
That's right.
That for me is the evidence of progression in his game.
And he could have scored more this season as well, by the way.
I think this season, everybody has stepped it up. And that includes Martin Ødegaard. And he's playing a lot better than what it was last season. And you're quite right. He's scoring more goals. And maybe if we had more clinical striker up top, he would have got more assists. But I don't know if you noticed, this season I have not been on his case quite a lot as last season. No Arteta, because there's nothing to moan about. And I admit that he's playing a lot better than last season. And I hope he continues. And I hope that we get a better striker so then he can get more assists. And fair play to him for scoring more goals.
It's interesting you say you want more trickery from him and to impact the game more, because when I watch him, I think a lot of the play goes through him. I think he conducts the way Arsenal play, sets the tone. Yes, we win the ball. His job is not really, he works really, really hard. I saw it firsthand. He works tremendously hard for the team. He's not that sort of midfielder that's going to win you a million slide tackles and get stuck in every single. He's more of a smart player. His positional sense, where he is, he's always available. He's always helping the rest of his team. And I don't know. And he scored plenty of goals this season. Could have scored more. I don't know what else you can expect from him. I think he's one of the slickest ballers. He's one of the slickest ballers we have. He's quick. He's got such quick feet.
At the end of the season, hopefully, I can give you a more complete answer, Mr. Canton.
Yeah, I was just curious, because there's times where I've
Tom, I'm not one of those guys that will criticize because
hence why I gave you the opportunity to speak about it. That's why I think it's important, because I know that there would have been comments, people saying, why didn't Shaheen talk about Ødegaard? So it's given you the opportunity to say something.
No, look, as I said, everybody, including Martin Ødegaard, has stepped up this season, and I have not seen a lot from him to moan about, and I haven't, and I'm happy about that, because at the end of the day, I want him. If he performs better, my team will perform better, will be better, and that's exactly what's happened. FTL Guna Craig says, thank you very much, by the way, for your kind donation. Greeting, guys, from the new official Fort Lauderdale Gunners. We love the show. Thank you very much, Jesus. Got an 8 from me. Tom Canton shirts are in the production. What's this shirt business about, Tom?
Craig keeps going on about these shirts. Apparently, you don't like them, but I would like them. I don't know what he's suggesting. Maybe
Craig basically he DM'd me basically with a white T-shirt with just my face on it. I don't know why. He's keen to do it, but yeah, no. To be fair, Craig did take a massive version of Gabriel Martinelli's face to one of the America friendlies, and Martinelli took it and signed it. So it's
also available in toilet seat covers as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, there's another one from JJ. Thank you very much, JJ, for your very generous super chat. Big up, Mo. Massive respect for your analysis. Big loss to AFTV. Would love to see you on Big Six, though. Jesus would get 8 out of 10 for all he's brought with the move. What? 8 out of 10 for all the. I think work is brought the movement and bringing others into the play.
So what? JJ comes here, spends $17.99 and suggests that Mo should go on another show. Yeah.
As well,
JJ, sort out.
As well as, not instead of. But I'm glad JJ wrote that comment, because.
Are you?
No. It's about Jesus.
I'm joking.
It's about Jesus. Because I asked about what people would give him, and it seems like 8 out of 10 seemed like the consensus, and I think that's great, because goals can be a real distraction. You can get I mean, look, the perfect example, which we have to speak out today, is Ronaldo last year. A lot of people were very distracted by Ronaldo's goals last year rather than his actual performances and what he's doing for the team. And I think it's great that Arsenal fans know their football. On general, honestly, when I talk to Arsenal fans, I feel like people see things properly and give the team a fair shake. And the fact that the consensus for a player who hasn't scored in a month and a half is an 8, I think speaks volumes. We see what he's doing. We see the work. More than anything, we see the sincerity in his play and the effort that he takes for the team.
Okay. Guys, I wanted to do something with you guys, and I want everybody to take part as well in a comment. I would have liked to discuss this a little bit more as we go along, but I'm just conscious of the time, and there's other topics I'd like to discuss. So I'm going to ask you a question and just name one player, whoever comes in your mind or whoever that is. So this season so far, right? And obviously we're breaking up, so we say like 40% through season. Who's the signing of the season so far? One word, don't forget.
Signing of the season.
Lev? Today, please.
I'll say, well, we can't cast Saliba because he was already signed. So Jesus for me.
No, I'm talking about Premier League.
Yeah, Jesus.
Jesus
45 million. Can't get a better deal than that.
Mo?
This is too big of a question for me.
And I don't understand the hype about Martinez either, by the way. All the hype about how great
I feel like what I need to do is I need to refresh on which players were signed. Honestly, like it's too big of a question.
No, this is Premier League. It's not just
Arsenal. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In the chat, if you can refresh
it'd be easy
us.
if it was Arsenal, but I'm trying to think to myself, who the hell has been signed?
I don't see how it can't be Haaland, to be honest. Like,
Well,
for 60 odd million quid, like 15 more than we paid for Jesus.
We're still top of the league, and they're not.
Yeah, I know, but he's like the amount of goals that he scores for them.
Yeah, I know.
I'm with Tom, by the way. I would say Haaland. Mo?
It's a bit of an easy answer, isn't it? Like I'm trying to think, wasn't there like some sort of niche free transfer or something like that where you'd think value for money?
Well, somebody who's coming and he's done really well. Signing up the season.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Amin in the chat who says Palhinha at Fulham, who has, to be fair, been fantastic. For them.
Yeah, oh, he was great yesterday, by the way.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for a one more answer out of this, by the way, because there's more things.
Fine. I mean, look, yeah, it's going to have to be Haaland then, isn't it? He's obviously the top scorer, taking the league by storm, but it's kind of what you'd expect.
Right. So next one, a redemption story.
Well, Granit Xhaka.
Ronaldo.
What's the opposite of redemption?
Lev?
What?
Redemption story.
Well, it's got to be Xhaka, isn't it? Like he was 1 minute he's hated, now we all love him. We're singing his name, and he's like one of the lads.
Redemption story, either Joel Linton or Granit Xhaka. And
it's Granit
Joel
Linton.
Yeah. But Joel Linton, Newcastle fans would feel it a lot more than us, but he has had a lot of stick at Newcastle and was signed as a centre forward to redeem yourself in a different position and recreate yourself. I think it was a fantastic achievement by him. But I'd still say Granit Xhaka because of everything that went before it.
Almiron's also a good shout.
Thank you guys for your one word answer.
Yeah.
Thank you for your one word answer. I'm really grateful. Right, unsung hero.
It's the same answer as the last one. Granit Xhaka.
This is not Arsenal left. This is Premier League.
I don't care about the other team's unsung heroes. I only care about my own.
Well, no, maybe.
For me, it's Granit Xhaka or Saliba.
No, I'll go left field on this one. Leicester replaced Fofana with Wout Faes. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
David Luiz looking guy.
Yeah. And actually, do you know what? He has been instrumental in them actually getting back on form and has done quite well. Just very, very unfashionable, but he's done quite well there. So I could say potentially him, or you could turn around and say someone at Newcastle because they really, really dark horses. Maybe I'd even say just Eddie Howe in terms of what Newcastle have been doing really well.
So have Leicester City just decided to start signing centre backs with hairstyles from Vidal Sassoon's book from the 1980s.
Right.
or
Lev,
something.
this was a one-word answer kind of thing, you
Oh
know.
my
Tom,
God.
Mo, I'm very grateful for your one-word answers. By the
Tom,
way,
if you
so
get...
far.
All right, you didn't have a go at him, though, did
Tom.
you? No.
Unsung hero.
Just
I'm
one
going to
answer,
go
Tom.
with Pascal Gross.
Okay. This is going to be an easy one, but manager of the season so far.
Antonio Conte.
It's not a bad shout, you know.
Yes, it's a close one. It's a close
It's Eddie
one
Howe
between-
for me.
Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe. I mean, Arteta has got to obviously be in the mix because he's done so bloody well. So it's between him, Eddie Howe, and
One word I was looking for, Mo.
yeah, no, but you've got to flesh these things out. Or given, oh, do you know, I've forgotten his name now.
Roberto De
Brighton's
Zerbi,
new
you can-
manager.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Roberto
doing
De
good, Sean.
Zerbi.
Pardon?
De Zerbi.
He definitely does deserve it. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Deserve it. So,
Well, he's
what's your
deserving.
answer, Mo? One word.
Arsenal, Arteta, top of the league.
Lev?
Can't complain.
Arteta, no one would have guessed we were going to be top of the league. It's got to be Arteta for me.
All right, and young player of the season so far.
Ooh.
Young player.
How young
One
is
word,
young?
guys.
How young is
Martinelli.
young?
Yeah, from, I don't know, 16
Well, it's
plus,
Haaland
yeah.
because he's 22.
Yeah, exactly. It's
No, I
Haaland,
would say-
Saliba.
Yeah, you can say.
21. Saliba's 21.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will go Saliba actually. Yeah, Saliba.
Well, no, I think it's Haaland.
Saliba, Mo,
No, Saliba's been more important for Arsenal, I think.
Mo.
I think Haaland. I think, he's player of the
Haaland.
season, young player of the season,
Look,
everything.
Look at it this way: Saliba's taken Arsenal from 5th to 1st. Haaland's taken City from 1st to 2nd. So look at it that way.
Left.
But it's not just Saliba. It's also
Saliba
Jesus, it's
for me.
also Zinchenko.
Saliba for you. All right, I'll probably go for Martinelli. But listen, guys, tremendous one-word answers, especially more quick to the point. Great, very grateful. Thank you very much. So that season so far, we've done really well. Any of you feel the buzz of the World Cup?
No.
Is this a one-word answer? No.
No, you can talk about this. Because we're going to talk about the World Cup now, but
It feels really strange to me. I'm not going to lie, because ever since I was like a young kid, all I've ever known is World Cup in the summer. And then all of a sudden, we're playing in the winter.
can I, 1 second? I don't know who
Well,
this
I'm
George
not
guy
allowed
is.
to say anything.
No, hold on.
Oh, George
I don't know who
is...
this George guy is, but mate, if you come in on our chat on our channel and you're talking
don't need to
shit
do this,
about
Shay.
one of our panelists, I'm gonna give you a chance to apologize to Tom. If not, I'll block you because I don't put out with this shit here.
Oi,
You need to be kind. If you come in here, we don't. You see, somebody came asked a difficult question to Mo. It was respectful. He answered that. If you come in here and you watch us, thank you very much for being here. But you've got to be polite, my friend. Otherwise, you can jog on.
Yeah, George. If
If you don't apologize to Tom, I'll block you. And if you want to leave, then go for it.
Can I just say,
George.
if you've got a problem with Tom and you've actually got a valid point, please articulate it properly so we can all join in as well and take the piss out of it.
Yeah, please. I'd enjoy that.
George, can you expand on why you think Tom is a clown?
And also, George, back yourself, because if you're talking crap, we'll give you the stick. But go on, step up
Why
to
am
him
I
and
a
see how it
clown? I
goes.
want to know. What have I done?
Andropi.
No, but some people, they just come and they say things for the
Oh, I
sake
know.
of saying it,
Some
and there's
people just
nothing
don't like
else
some
to it.
people,
If
Shay.
you
It is
ask
what
them
it is.
why or this, that's it. It ends. They go missing. Anyway,
To be fair, it's been nice
talking
being
about-
top of the league. You know, because a lot of people who come in here and bash me usually, they've somehow disappeared from our chat box. So it's great.
Anyway, we need to talk about Ronaldo today. We have to get stuck into
No, hold
it.
on. We will.
Good.
I'm sure we will. Especially, we're going to start with you on that one more. But just on the World Cup, how do you guys? Do you know what? I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised with the England squad. I must say, not that I'm a supporter of the national team, but I couldn't understand why Ivan Toney did not get a call up.
Yeah.
Or like there are players in there that have played a very small number of games and they're there, and there are players who've done really well, i.e. Ivan Toney, not there.
Yeah.
Tom, I'll start with you because obviously that's your national team. What's your thoughts on the England squad?
I don't like Southgate for starters. You know, I want him gone. I've no interest in Southgate being England manager. I think it's the biggest waste of a generational talent of a squad. You know, to combine the talent that's in that England squad with just a B-Tech manager, and that's being polite. You know, I just don't rate the guy at all. And I actually think that England getting to a semi-final and a final of the World Cup and the Euros in those years is an underachievement of what that team should have achieved during those years. They should have got to the final in the World Cup and they should have won the Euros. That's what they should have done. Because of the manager's limitations, they didn't. I mean, to go 1-0 up against Italy and then shut up shop, a team that, you know, isn't really going to do what you need to do. So I don't have much faith in him getting too much from this side. Watch us go and win the World Cup now.
But I always thought, Tom, that you get picked for your national team based on your performances throughout the league. I can't understand for the life of me why Calvin Phillips is there.
Yeah, it's a great point. You know, I think potentially that is more down to availability of central midfielders. You know, that area in particular isn't very heavy from an England perspective. You could argue that James Ward-Prowse is probably more deserving to be in the squad because he's played regularly for Southampton, but he's not necessarily had the best of seasons for them either. I'm surprised Conor Gallagher's in there over another forward, you know, to be honest. If James Maddison fulfills what I think Gallagher provides the team for a kind of an attacking number 8 style position, and I'd rather have seen, say, another forward like Ivan Toney. You know, I'm not a big fan of Ivan Toney on a personal perspective, but from a footballing point of view, I think that he is a quality player and certainly would have added plenty to the Arsenal team.
No.
So the England team, sorry, you see my affiliation sneaking
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, I do it all the time. Just, I am frustrated by that. The fact that Harry Maguire even exists anywhere near the national team is a joke.
That's another one.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a joke.
No, a national team. Hold on. You get picked based on your performances this season. So you don't get picked based on who you are and what you've done before.
That's one reason you get picked. What I'm saying is it's very easy to join in on criticising Harry Maguire and say it's a joke, but let's go deeper than that. Can we come up with a reason why he's been picked? If Southgate picked some player from, you know, the Championship that has never played for
I'll give you an argument, Mo. What about Chris Smalling?
Harry Maguire has been good for England. Okay, he's been good for England. He's been reliable, and as far as Gareth Southgate is concerned, he's always been able to depend on Harry Maguire. Yes, he's been crap for Man United, but look at Ronaldo. Then, would you say it's a joke that Portugal are going to select Ronaldo?
Yeah, but there's a big difference. Can I just
interject
talking
about
with this?
A quality player here, but you're comparing Maguire to Ronaldo. I'll tell you something. Chris Smalling won Serie A, playing regular. Why shouldn't he be in there?
Tomori as well.
I'm saying there's context to everything. And the context with Maguire's selection is that he's been brilliant for England. If I was England manager, would I have selected him? No. But I'm telling you the logic of why Southgate has.
Can I just interject on this then? Right, look. Firstly, I totally agree with Tom with regards to Southgate. There's people in the chats here, I think Zach was one of them, who said, oh, are you crazy? He's taking England to the finals. But I think people are not realising just how good this squad actually is in comparison to what we've had over the years, barring the golden generation with the likes of your Lampards and your Gerrards and all of that, which we were expecting something from them. This is a new breed. This new breed has developed because foreign players have come into our league, and the players, the English young players, have had to be better, that much better to get into these sides nowadays, to get into a City side, to get into a Liverpool side, an Arsenal side. British players have to be better, and they've improved so much. We've got some of the best attacking players, young players in Europe at the moment. I think Southgate plays a very defensive football. I mean, who has he managed in the past successfully? No one really, if you really think about it. The reason I think Harry Maguire looks good for England is because of Southgate's defensive tactics, where he gets all the bodies behind the ball and looks to counter. The problem with Harry Maguire when he struggles in the Premier League is when people are running in behind him and they're quick and he gets caught out. So I could see why he's picked, Harry Maguire. But at the same time, where is it gone where you pick players on merit? Because I believe Tomori was at Roma as well, wasn't he? Tomori and Milan, right? So Tomori, haven't they? Like Tomori's had a great season. Chris Smalling's had a great season. Maguire, I just don't understand the justification of having him. But then on top of that, I think the problem is the way we play. I really do. Like with the players that we have, he should be going and playing to his strengths. And our strength is playing attacking football. And if you do play attacking football, someone like Maguire won't fit.
I agree, but you know what? He's gonna be in a very, very, very difficult place if Maguire goes and fucks up in a
absolutely.
Well, the thing is, though, like,
see, that's the problem with selecting someone like Maguire.
He's not only just been selected. He's going to start. He's going to start. You know,
anyway,
that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, look, George, this is your second chance to apologize to Tom, mate. If you don't, you're off.
Tom, it's only a problem, Tom, if Maguire puts in his Man United performances in an England shirt. He's been good for England. Are we all agreed on that?
Sorry, go on. Complete your point.
But what makes you think, Mo, that he wouldn't? What has he done this season so far that you think, oh, he may not do that?
Listen, I am not saying I would have selected him. What I'm saying is, why has Gareth Southgate selected him? Now, and to emphasize that point, are we all in agreement that when Maguire has been called upon in an England shirt, he's performed?
Yeah, yes.
We even remember, whilst he was having awful form for Man United, playing an England game and then responding to his Man United fans in his celebration after he scored. You know, he punctures bad form for Man United with good form for England. And sometimes that just happens. So, you know, I personally can understand it. And look, he's a Man United player, so I don't care for him. Do I want him to mess up? Yes. You know, I don't like Man United. I don't like Man United players. But I just get why he's been selected.
Yeah. Monday afternoon, Tom, Iran versus England.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
It's my birthday, mate. So
is it?
Yeah.
Next Monday.
Yeah, next Monday it is. Yeah.
Well,
I don't think I'm going to be able to watch the whole game. So yeah, apologies. I won't be around next Monday if you're doing a pod because I think the game's in the evening anyway. So depends if you're doing a show, but I won't be there because I think the missus has something planned. So apologies for that. But look, what I will say is that I am a lot less confident in the US than I was a month ago. I will say that. I'm a lot less confident than I was. So, you know,
I told you Iran and England will probably qualify.
Yeah, I think Iran have the next best chance. I think it's between them and the US. I do think it's between them and the US. I know it has changed. I still think that the States have the quality, the individual quality to get second place. I just think that the Iran team, as a collaborative group, are probably going to trump the US's individuals. And I think you might end up going through. You know what the thing is with England, though. I sit here laughing and joking, saying, yeah, clearly we'll see where they get far in the knockouts. But I'm really not even that confident. You know, they didn't win a single Nations League game. They lost at home to Hungary. I think they lost also away at Hungary. They haven't won a single Nations League game at all. So to think that we've now got to get past the United States, Wales, and Iran is in itself a challenge for us right now.
You know that I'm sure you all know the Iranian manager, Carlos Queiroz.
I was going to say national anthem. I was going to say
no. The issue with him, the issue that I have with him is he plays an extremely defensive game. I remember last World Cup, we had Portugal, Argentina, and Nigeria in our team. And it was just 10 men behind the ball, hit them on the counter.
Well, that's the best chance you're going to get against those teams.
Especially against the UK.
There are two teams for the UK.
Against England. Yeah. Against England. But that might work against England, you know, and it's not going to get you far playing that sort of football in a tournament like World Cup. But I just think we will lose to England. We'll beat America, and I think we'll probably beat Wales as well.
All right, listen, this is not the flipping Iran lounge. This is the Arsenal lounge, all right?
Yeah, all right.
Iran lounge.
I can talk about my national team.
We all know Iran are going to qualify. Yeah,
I can talk about my national team. What, are you jealous because you lot are not in a World Cup or something, Mo?
I'm supporting Iran actually in this World Cup.
That's very good. That's what you should.
Also, all I care about is El Politico. When Iran face United States, that's all I care about. Iran.
Imagine
El Politico. I love that.
Listen,
I love that.
Imagine instead of
political group, and You'll remember the Iranian game before in the World Cup where flowers were given before the game, etc., all of that sort of stuff. And
they'll probably do something like that again, because it's always been like
maybe, yeah.
we come across America in wrestling quite a lot.
Do you watch
And
wrestling?
No, but you hear about it in this Iranian sport website or pages, Instagram. The one thing that they don't like is whenever they come up against, for example, likes of Israel, they just don't turn up. They don't play, so we don't recognize them. But they play against America, and it's always very civilized, and especially both parties who take part in the game. So, how do you guys feel about the World Cup? Who's going to win it?
Well, do you know what? Before we talk about who's going to win it, what I find amazing, I thought, let me listen to a World Cup podcast the other day. So I went into, my podcast app and typed in Qatar World Cup, this, that, the other. I thought I'd get some, chat about the favourites and the key players to look out for. That sort of like insightful analysis of this feast of football. Every single episode that was uploaded about the World Cup was about the criticisms of it. I'm yet to feel like there's a World Cup a week away. I can't believe that there's no hype, no adverts, no nothing specifically about the World Cup. And all I ever see on any article is just a case of the problems with it. I've never
criticism,
had a World Cup like it.
Do you think this World Cup's left a bit of a sour taste in people's mouths, in the sense of, look, I'll be honest with you, right? When Qatar were awarded the World Cup, for obvious reasons, I was very skeptical or cynical. Not because I've got anything against Qatar, but because when you compare two countries, one's got an infrastructure from all up and down the UK, for example. We've got stadiums all around the country, from small to large. You can have all the groups could be housed, all the travel could be done. And then you've got a country that had zero, literally nothing. And they won the World Cup. Everyone questioned it. Then obviously the Sepp Blatter thing happened. Yeah. We all knew there was something corrupt going on. The Netflix documentaries come out. The season's being put to a halt because now it's in the winter and nobody expects it in the winter. The great thing about the World Cup, it was like a welcome break for everybody, in the sense of, yeah, football was over for the season, but then you had extra football and it was that summer vibe and everyone was excited. And I just don't get that at the moment. I'm just wondering if it's because it's in the winter or it's because there's this sort of stigma behind it or what. But I think Mo's right. I mean, I used to love World Cups. I love them, but I just don't feel it right now.
Okay. Mo, sorry, Lev, I'm going to put there's quite a few super chats. I'll put them on screen if you can read through it.
Alex, I don't know. That's the Russian. I don't know. Is anyone can help me out with that?
Greek. Is it Greek?
No,
we'll stick to Alex.
That looks Russian to me. But
Alex,
thank you, bro.
Russian or Greek?
Alex, thank you for your support, by the way. Do you guys plan on doing any watch-alongs for the World Cup 2022 or maybe Arsenal games in the future? Keep up the great job. Love the pod. Come on, you Gunners. Thank you, Alex. Respect to that. We might be doing something. Yeah, keep an eye out for notifications. Wayne Sage, where you been, bro? Thank you for joining us. Just curious as to how many more tests they're going to give Arsenal. Waiting for GCSEs now. A-levels, question mark. That's a good thing. Do you know what? When is anyone actually going to start giving us the credit we deserve? There's always a reason. There's always a problem. Gary Neville still thinks that, we're going to mess up. Harry, George Haralambos, who you've given the red card since, was on here saying, wait till February. Everyone, even Arsenal fans, are still a little bit reluctant to say, yeah, we're title challengers. When do we get given that tag?
But you know what? It suits us just fine, in my opinion. I don't want the pressure. I was even worried about, going 5 points clear before the World Cup starts, and all of a sudden, Arsenal were into the new year 5 points clear, and I don't want people talking about, are they going to slip up? As soon as that whole conversation starts about us being the favourites and slipping up, it's very hard to sort of let that not affect you. So I'm happy.
One word answers, and I'm looking at you, Mohida. One word, right? Who's going to win the World Cup? Tom?
Brazil.
Mo?
Brazil.
Lev?
I'm going to say something different. France.
Fuck.
What, the current holders? Something
I was
different.
going to say France.
Yeah, well, different to you guys, right?
Yeah.
I think with the introduction of Saliba at the back, it might change things.
I want
I'll
it
go
to be
for France as
Argentina.
well.
I really want it to
Yeah,
be
I
Argentina.
would like it to
man.
be Argentina as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Someone
going to
in
go
the
with
chat
France.
someone in the chat has written that the final would be Messi's 1,000th professional game. I can't find it,
Ooh.
but is that true?
That
true,
would be the
that's
type
amazing.
of that would be the
Tell
type
you
of script that
I'll
would
tell
be
you,
written for
I'll
him.
tell you what somebody has put on the chat that is shocking is that this video has only got 50 fucking likes.
What's with the
Guys,
swearing today, man?
I know he's very
sure.
angry, isn't he?
Heard
It's
it
not
was
like
awesome.
for
one of those
at the
moods
top of the
today.
league. He's in a bad
I don't
mood.
know. I'm in one of those moods today. Please make sure you hit the likes and obviously subscribe to Arsenal Lounge, the Gooner Talk TV, and more.
Why is
Adidas channel.
Odegaard playing so well? That's what.
Listen, Mo.
Yeah,
What's happening with Ronaldo, man?
man. Honestly, it's
Take it away, Mo. Take it away. Make it
Yeah.
good. Make it good, Mo.
It is absolutely brilliant. You know, anytime you meet someone that has got the audacity/stupidity of comparing Messi to Ronaldo, they're one of three things: a Man United fan, a Real Madrid fan, or Portuguese. They're the only people that do it. And since he's pulled this lated stunt of petulance that he's always had in him, you see them turning in droves and admitting that he's nowhere near it. Not only has he decided to be upfront about how petulant and spoiled and bratty he is, that we've always known, but people have just denied because when things are going well, you don't see it. He's now also coupled that with actually just being pretty bang average. Even when he's been given the chances for United this season, he's done nothing. At least last season, he had the ability to pretend that, I'm scoring goals, so I'm great. Well, the fact is, you weren't great last season, and now there's no debate. You are winning the Ballon d'Or, and you're acting like an absolute muppet. And from an Arsenal fan's point of view, that does not like Man United one bit. Yesterday it was about Chelsea. Last week it was about Chelsea hate. This week is about United hate. I am absolutely over the moon for Ronaldo to breathe his toxic breath into every single corner of that club. Carry on refusing to come on from the touchline. Carry on walking down the tunnel. Interviews. Look at the timing of this interview. Immediately after the last Premier League game, just before the World Cup. If there was ever a shop window, he is putting himself on sale. And you know what? I hope Man United keep him, let him rot in the reserves in the final stages of his career. Because you know what? I don't care how great you are. Even for me, Maradona, when people talk about him being the greatest, he can't be the greatest, not with his lack of professionalism, lack of discipline, that sort of thing. And Ronaldo, you're talking to me about him as a great? No chance. Greats don't act the way he has done. Messi is greater in every single way. There's only two statistics in which Messi loses to Ronaldo. The first one is headers, and the second one is refusing to come off the subs bench. They're the only two metrics in which Ronaldo has got a better record than Messi. And I think now people need to start realizing that Ronaldo is an absolute child, self-obsessed, egotistical narcissist. And the United fans that were naively thinking that he cares about your club, this should tell you everything you need to know. He cares about himself, does not give a crap about you, and hopefully he rots in the reserves and takes United down with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit difficult to follow that on Lev.
I've got a different take.
I'll give you the opportunity.
I've got a different take.
Huh?
I've got a different take to that. Firstly, I'm a big Ronaldo fan as a footballer. First, I'll be honest with you, right? If you're gonna make a perfect footballer, it's Ronaldo. Yes, Messi was blessed with ridiculous natural gifted talent, right? That's different. You would never build a Messi as a perfect footballer. If you was to be given something as a blueprint, it would be a Ronaldo. From a footballing perspective, I think he was superb. I don't think anyone will ever touch Maradona for me. I'm just going to put it out there. He managed to win Argentina World Cups on his own, right? So it's a bit different in an era where they could kick you from pillar to post. And let's just put it this way. Messi was looking up to being a Maradona. Every Argentinian footballer looked up to being a Maradona. Maybe that would change in the future. But anyway, but with regards to this Ronaldo situation, I kind of understand where he's coming from, and this is why I'm going to put it out there. I know it's easy to bash him for doing this, but at the same time, let's try and look at the other angle. Rumors had it that he was about to join another team. He was on the verges of joining another team. Then somebody calls him up and says, "Oi, you're a United legend. You can't go to them lot down the road. You need to come and play for us." And he puts his loyalty to that team, and he says, "Okay, you know what? You're right. I'll come and play for you guys." He could have had a much easier life playing for City, and you know what? People wouldn't even be sitting here questioning Ronaldo if he was playing for City, because the way they play, he could just be hanging around waiting for that chance, boom, goal. No one would even question. It's like Messi playing at PSG, for example, surrounded by quality, right? Whereas Man United was a different team in transition. Yes, he's not that sort of player really to grace the Premier League anymore. It's physically demanding. He's not at the peak of his powers anymore. But had he gone to City, you would have seen a different Ronaldo. When you look at Ronaldo now, he's going, hold on, I've shown you my loyalty. I haven't gone to your rivals to show respect for you guys. And this is the respect you show me in return. You dump me on the bench. Don't give me any chance. Treat me like crap. I can all my camera's gone, but I'm still here. But yeah, my camera's died. This is
protest about your opinion. That's what
it has. That's
how bad it is.
Sponsored by Rainbow Laces. Anyway, my battery's died on my camera. But look, end of the day, I'll finish off with this. I think Ronaldo has a point. I don't really care about United. I'm happy he's doing it to them. It's about time somebody else gets all the limelight over what we used to get, all the bad publicity. Long may it continue. And what even makes it funnier, even though I can't stand Piers Morgan, is that Piers Morgan, an Arsenal fan, has done this to United as well. So there you go. So I'm reveling in it. So I'm just going to pull myself out of it so you don't have these colours.
The fact that you talk about loyalty, Lev, honestly, I hope you're still listening. $500,000 a week. That's what the price of loyalty is. And not only that, if he had loyalty, you're trying to reference loyalty in all of this. Where's his loyalty when he refuses to come off the bench? Where's his loyalty when he walks down the tunnel before full time? He's shown zero loyalty. You cannot put Ronaldo and loyalty in the same sentence, other than if you're talking about loyalty to himself.
Tom?
I don't particularly like Ronaldo. I appreciate him as a footballer, and as I agree with what Leb said, if you could design what your blueprint of a footballer would be in terms of ability and strength and speed and athleticism, it would be Ronaldo. But for me, I don't know why this boils down to a Messi Ronaldo debate when it's all about.
Sorry about that.
No, in my view, Messi's the greatest footballer I've ever seen in my personal lifetime. I just think that the talent is unrivaled. Ronaldo has worked for his talent, and I respect that. But Messi just has a natural talent and a gift that he's managed to cultivate and grow across his entire career. I think, I ultimately think that the arguments to try and argue that Ronaldo is better than Messi are just far too try hard for me. It's
Tom,
just
you're falling into the same trap.
I am. It's impossible not to. But on the Ronaldo thing, it's just funny. It's funny. It's nice that there's a drama at another club I can laugh at rather than having to worry about it on my own. So
what's interesting, Tom, is the mess that is behind the scene at Man United, and I'm sure when he does the interview, the fact that he's saying when he left, the facilities are basically same as when he's left, just shows a lot that Man United probably is not that great club that we all thought they are. I actually happen to agree with Lev on this one. That I think I like Ronaldo as a footballer, and I think he's probably one of the most complete players that you can see. And the guy, what he's achieved in his career is phenomenal. There's always two sides of the story. You don't know what's been promised to him or what's been happening behind the scene at Man United. One of the things that he said is that they thought he's lying about his daughter being unwell, and they expected him to turn up on a pre-season when his daughter was unwell in a hospital, especially when they were born a twin and one of them died and this one was ill in a hospital. So it's all come out in a public, and things need to be really bad for it to get to this stage. And I agree with Mo. Ronaldo, he's got top people around him that advise him on what to say, what to do, where to go, where not to go. And he's been advised to listen, you need to do an interview like this in order to end it with Man United, because now they have to sell him. There's no way back for Ronaldo in that team. And Man United hands have kind of been forced on this, where they've got to get rid of him in January. So
And let's not forget.
and from an Arsenal point of view, sorry, Mo, it's so nice to see somebody come out and just spill everything that has been going on, especially that is one of your rivals, for all-time rivals as well. It's joy to watch, and you're like, oh, you can take a piss out of my United fans. And it's been a long time that we were in a position that we can sit nice and comfortable and be cool where we are, and other players, because remember, we had a lot of these issues. Guendouzi, Aubameyang, Ozil, who else? Problem players. There was this thing about Saliba going on loan. Why is he going? Now we're cool, and we're kind of not. We're kind of laughing at everybody else. Sorry, Mo, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I just on the Ronaldo thing, I can't even remember what my point was going to be now. But basically, this interview, never mind refusing to come off the subs bench, unforgivable, just absolutely unforgivable. Anyone can talk about the fact some people have ridiculous opinions that, it's disrespectful to put him on the bench or disrespectful to bring him on for only 2 minutes, all of that. Fine, whatever. Let's not talk about any of that. This step that he's taken now, absolutely unforgivable. Zero benefit to the club. And if an Arsenal player had done it, I don't care which Arsenal player. This could have been Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp. It could have been our greatest legends, Tony Adams, whatever. If they had done this, draw the line. Unacceptable, solely for him at the expense of his club.
Okay. Right. We've been doing this for about an hour and 10 minutes, guys. This is going to be our last podcast before the World Cup. It may be a bit on and off during the World Cup, depending on the fixtures, what time games are, what's availability of all of us. So it may be a little bit unorganized during the World Cup. Obviously, after the World Cup, we'll come back, and we'll try to do what we can during the World Cup. But final thoughts, Mr. Canton?
I'm gutted, to be honest, mate. I'm gutted that there's a World Cup. I really could have done with Arsenal season continuing. We did a piece today about whether the World Cup's a help or a hindrance, and I'm always optimistic. Tried down the route of trying to argue how it helps us. And there are arguments in terms of rest for certain players, in terms of morale boosts, the likes of Jesus, who I think needs a bit of a confidence boost, and he might get that from the World Cup. I think there are other players that won't play as much, like Martinelli as well, that are going to get a bit of a rest. And who knows, Fabio Vieira is going to get a bit of a pre-season that he never got in the summer. So I think there are some individual boosts. But I could really have done with this not being here for reasons well beyond just football, which obviously are very well documented. If you haven't started watching the FIFA documentary, by the way, I recommend people go and do that, because I've just watched the first episode. It's very good. But it sucks that I've got to wait 6 weeks. It sucks even more because my day job is literally Arsenal. Like the next 6 weeks, for the end of last season when we didn't make Champions League, the following kind of few weeks was a real low point, even from a mental standpoint. So I'm just a bit concerned about the next 6 weeks. I know we've got football basically every day, which should help, but it is tough when your task is to come up with Arsenal content every day, and that's going to be a challenge, but we'll embrace it and see how it goes. But
Tom, are you doing? Does your job are you doing anything with the World Cup?
Yeah, we are. We are doing quite a bit with the World Cup. So a lot of when Arsenal's players are playing, we're going to be doing live blogs on those games and looking specifically at the performance of those. I'm going to come up with some ideas. I'm going to be doing a daily transfer target watch of the players that have been linked to Arsenal, how they're playing, what they're doing. There is stuff to do, but it's not about being busy. It's just the Arsenal, hook that isn't there for me is the biggest hit. But being top of the league for 6 weeks is nice, so you can boast about that and bask in that as much as we want.
Yeah, I'm also not really looking forward to the World Cup. I would have much rather watched Premier League, but it is what it is. I just hope that it's going to be a very, very exciting tournament. So it gives us something to watch, beautiful games, because we all love football at the end of the day. And I just hope that, people can stop talking about the negativity of this World Cup, as you said, Mo, and just start talking about the actual game and the game that we all love. I don't think that the break is doing Arsenal any favors at all, and I just hope, most importantly, that the players come back not injured and in good physical condition, so we can kind of pick up where we left off, because we've got a big push and some difficult fixtures really coming up. Mo, what about you?
With the World Cup, it's one of those ones where never ever before has there been a World Cup, a Premier League fixture played 10 days before a World Cup, and that's what this weekend was. Premier League fixtures with the World Cup in 10 days. And how that will affect a player and whether that will impact their performance on the day it's just unknown. I feel like it's just sod's law that the one season Arsenal are 5 points clear, and the weekend we get 5 points clear, all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's go play World Cup now. And I just think to myself, like, God, when was the last time we were 5 points clear at the top of the league? How many bloody years would it have been? And it's just our bloody luck that now we've got a World Cup, because what it does, it throws a real unknown. It could benefit Arsenal. It could not. None of us actually know. We can have our theories, but none of us actually know. And I'd rather not roll the dice. I'd rather we just carry on playing, because I want to see Arsenal play every week, because right now things are going well. So, yeah, bloody annoying.
Okay. Lev?
I'm with Mo on this one, and Tom. My concern is how it will affect our momentum moving forward, because we're on a real good roll right now and we're getting used to winning and finding ways to win. It's not just the physical toll World Cup takes on people, it's the emotional and mental toll as well, playing so many games. And then obviously if you get close to winning and don't win it, players come back down. I mean, obviously we're quite fortunate in some aspects that we don't have everyone playing in the World Cup this year, which is a good thing. But look, end of the day, we've just got to get through it and hope that everyone comes back fit. We've got a tough derby when we do come back at home to West Ham, but at least it's a home tie. West Ham will have the likes of Declan Rice playing there as well. So, and then we've got Brighton away and then Newcastle and then Spurs away. So it's going to be a tough. You've got United as well at home, Everton away. So we've got some tough fixtures when we come back, and we need to hit the ground running and running fast. So fingers crossed, we've got a 5-point lead. Hopefully that gives us a bit of breathing space.
Lovely. Well, guys, please make sure you hit the like button. Comment, let us know your thoughts. Let us know who you think is going to win the World Cup. Subscribe, obviously, to Arsenal Lounge, the Guna Talk TV, and Mo Haidar, and as you said, Tom is doing regular things during the World Cup, so keep an eye on it. Thank you very much. I hope you all will enjoy the World Cup, and there'll be some fantastic games. We will do what we can throughout the World Cup. But have a wonderful evening wherever you are, and we will hopefully see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.